welcome back to the CODI cast. Woo! Yeah! Go Tom with that applause. I love that. I'm going to need to carry that around with me in everyday life. Today I'm going to be joined by I guess I'd call them like the dream team. They're, no pressure at all. But they are the dream team behind our influencer work. So welcome to the show, Geena Owen and Ailish. Everyone always pronounces your name. Everyone's like, how do you pronounce your name?
Yeah, you say it beautifully.
Oh, thank you. And Ailish Dempsey, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, even though we work
Happy
downstairs.
to be here.
So today we're going to talk about all things influencer marketing, which is something that we do really well, I would say, at CODI Agency, because you guys do the work, not me. It'd be a mess if I was trying to do things. And the world of influencer marketing has obviously grown exponentially. Interestingly, it's grown a lot during COVID because brands couldn't create their own content. So I'm going to delve a little bit deeper into the world of influencing with both of you in a mere matter of minutes. But first of all, just to break the ice, I thought I'd ask you who your celebrity crushes are.
You first.
No,
Let's do influencer crushes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
So Geena doesn't know who Joe Rogan is.
Yeah,
Should I
put
know
that
who
out
he
there on the
is?
air. I'll go the inspired unemployed. I hope they're not listening. The taller one, sorry. Jack, if you're out
She
there,
doesn't know his name,
get in
but she
touch. Get in touch.
Yeah, mine's Matthew McConaughey for sure.
Yeah. Love
How about
Matthew
yours?
McConaughey.
Yeah.
Ooh, see, mine fluctuates. I have like really random ones. Like I've loved The Rock. I've loved Benedict
The
Cumberbatch.
Rock. I would not suspect that.
I know it's weird because then I go from The Rock to Benedict Cumberbatch and everyone's like, there's no correlation at all between those two.
Not at all.
Whatsoever. But now I'm loving Chris Evans because I love his like Captain America because all of his dog content on Instagram.
Oh, you're a sucker for the dog.
I'm a sucker for the dog. I just love the dog. I
Massively.
think that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
The
So
Rock, though.
Matthew McConaughey, you got to chuck him in there.
Yeah, Matthew's up there.
yeah.
For sure.
So, okay, cool. So now that we've got our celebrity crushes aside, but, you know, if you're listening, Matthew, Chris, the uninspired unemployed, please feel free to slide into our DMs.
Yes.
This is what this is for. It's promo.
Yeah. This
Exactly.
is pretty much just to try and get some dates, everybody.
2, 3, 4, 5. No, I'm just kidding.
Is podcasting the new Tinder? Is that the next topic?
Oh my gosh. Please.
So I'm very lucky enough to work alongside both of you. So love your energy, love having you in the office, love your enthusiasm for all things digital marketing. So I might get well, just to kick off, I'll get you guys to just explain a little bit about your roles in the business, because I think a lot of us are familiar with influencer marketing, but there could be people out there who aren't as, I guess, well-versed in the area. So it'd be great to just cover off what exactly influencer marketing is and what is an influencer as well.
Right. So my day-to-day is a bit, it changes every day. It's so cliche to say, but basically I'm the middleman between brands and influencers. So, we're constantly sourcing new talent to see what influencers align with brands and if it's going to be hitting their target demographic and all that fun stuff. So there's a lot of strategy that actually goes behind it that not a lot of people know. So I don't know. I basically am always constantly, on Instagram, emailing.
It's work.
Yeah, work. I'm on my phone, but I'm working. So for people who obviously don't know, influencers are basically the celebrities of Instagram. And they are now an advertising tool for brands, really. And then Ailish has been helping me out a lot with, making our sales to clients, getting the brands in. So
If you're melting in or drowning in work, I step in and
typically drowning. It's a lot.
No, yeah, it's fun. And I work for the CODI Edit program. So if you don't know about that, check it out. It's launched last week. Basically, we reach out to small and large Australian brands. We curate them across all the different industries, so lifestyle, beauty, health, wellness, beverage, food, anything. And we get their products together and then we send it out to our select pool of influencers, you could say, 25. And then they go and create a buzz online, create hype, get really excited about the CODI edit. If you're familiar with influencer marketing, then say no more, I guess. And then I do a few other things, help you with some marketing strategy stuff. Then I nurture, qualify all of our inbound leads. So make friends with them. I literally had a guy the other day and he was talking about cryptocurrency and his new business, and I was like, that is so interesting. I've always wanted to get into it. And he was running me through it.
No more.
Yeah, and then I looked at the phone, it was on speaker, it was 12 minutes, and I was like, oh, and sorry, why were you calling CODI? Like, what did you want? He was like, oh yeah, like I'm wanting some influencer stuff, and I was like, oh, of course. So yeah, always loving to make new friends, connect them with everyone, and welcome to the CODI family.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yay. And both of you, I just love how positive you are, because like, I'll be honest with you, I love change, as you probably both know, and not everyone does, but you really, every time I'm like, oh, can we try this? Can we do that? You guys just jump straight onto it. And, you know, even when things change for our clients, you just really roll with the punches, and yeah, you've got amazing attitudes, and it's actually quite hard to find, to be honest. So
I feel like half the battle is staying up with the change as well, with, you know, I guess the media industry. It's always evolving, like,
You got to change.
Instagram, TikTok, there's just all these new platforms coming up, even Clubhouse. Like, it's just this constant. Like, you got to be on top of it, and you have to be willing to, you know, adapt or
change.
You know, you'll be stuck in last month's trends.
Yeah, exactly. Seriously. And that's a really good point. Like I always say, if you want to come and work here, you've got to love digital marketing, because there's no better way to learn than by being actually active on the platforms themselves. And that's something that, you know, I think all of you do really well. You're on it all the time, looking at exactly what you're saying, like who's promoting what, like what influencers doing what sort of content are they creating for brands, and then it gives you ideas as well of what we can suggest to our clients, because I think it's not just as simple as posting a pretty picture of yourself with an item now.
That's what people think when you say you're in digital marketing.
Lisa
like,
was like, once kind of LinkedIn started becoming a thing, she was like, not a thing, but you know, people were jumping on actually curating videos and posts and stuff. She's like, everyone go post on LinkedIn. I did my first post on LinkedIn, and I was like, all right, I was worried about the caption, and I'm like, all right, no one's gonna see it. 68,000 views
viral
on LinkedIn. And
viral.
I was like, oh no. It's me holding my diploma. Like, I'm educated.
Cute.
I've got an education, guys.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, can we edit in some audio of that into the podcast, please?
But isn't that amazing though? Like just the power of social. You've never have you posted since?
I posted one more time, but you know, it's sitting
go
at
out
68,000 views. I don't even know 68,000. Like that's like a stadium size, or like half a stadium. Like I'm like,
but that reach, that organic reach
it's kind of scary.
Is insane.
I want that for TikTok. Why LinkedIn? Why not TikTok?
I know.
For me?
Well, I posted my first TikTok, and I had no followers whatsoever. I think I had 2 like creepy people following me that I had no idea who they were. 2,000 views, 2,600 views, and I was.
That's 2,000 set of eyes. Staring at you.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, actually, interestingly, how do you find, say, for example, if you're looking to select influencers for a campaign, because there's obviously LinkedIn, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, there's Instagram. How do you even work out what platforms are best for a campaign and what influencers are best for a campaign?
Yeah, so I think it depends on the brand and what they really want and what their target demographic is as well. So TikTok's really good for, you know, the younger range, you know, that 18 to 25-year-olds, and honestly even probably lower than that, like 16. We know that they're, you know.
And even if their tone, they're wanting to be a bit more lighthearted, fun, cheeky even, you'd probably go more TikTok.
And I think we're at the point where we're noticing that Instagram's pushing out Reels. A lot of people are saying it's because they're trying to compete with TikTok, so they're really, really pushing out a lot of the Reels. So apparently if you post Reels, you're getting a lot more views and a lot more brand awareness. So I think when brands sign on with us, if that's their main concern, getting brand awareness and reach, I think it's, you know, best to suggest Reels. And even stories are becoming more of a thing as well. So I think it's really important to have stories. So we actually read this thing that in-feed posts aren't really doing as well as Reels and stories are. But that's just, I think it's just evolving as it kind of goes on. So yeah, so we basically just see what's best for the client, their target demographic, even influencers, what they're happy to do as well, because, budget comes into it. And if we're using, I guess, a little bit more higher number influencer, like a micro or a macro, they might actually budget may only allocate a certain amount. So yeah, I think it's just kind of just, having that conversation, open conversation with your client and trying to find the best result for them in the end.
Do you find that it's better to use big influencers or little influencers? Like what? Because I think a lot of brands, they might just go, I just want big influencers to post about my product.
Yeah.
Right. So I usually categorize it at the time now. Nanos are really, really great for reach because, their audience is super engaged because they are at that point where they have like 5,000, 7,000 followers that, they're probably reaching about 50% of their actual audience. Micros are really, 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 really great for curating content. They obviously have that good reach, but I'm finding that they're only reaching about 20% of their audience when I grab their insights. And then macros are obviously, they do create really, really, really great content, but they're more so for that big, massive audience reach.
Yeah. But we hear so many clients who have that one-off moment with a macro, like a math star or like a reality star, and they post one thing about their product and their sales just go through the roof. I feel like once you have that experience, you kind of expect it every time, but it can't always be predicted.
There's so much that goes into it, and I think a lot of people they don't really understand, which that's why we're here. But it's mostly, it's a process, so you can't just kind of do one campaign and get your results. It's just keeping the traction.
That's why it's good to always do a mix. We like a mix of all of them.
And also finding out which influencers work for you as well. So you might, as a brand, you might honestly only be successful with nanos, or you might only be successful with macros, or like a mixture or micros. Like it's just finding what's right for the brands and what works, and then kind of keeping it consistent so it has that authentic, feel to it, so that people, they know it's an ad, but they also feel like it's a genuine ad as well.
Yeah,
so
they want to buy the product.
And you can tell when influencers are sellouts and they don't actually use the products.
Oh, of course.
And they will literally just pimp out anything
Yep.
that anyone's willing to pay them.
It's usually the one-off ones that they just sort of throw in the product one-off if they're not like continuously doing it. Sometimes it can feel like that.
Yeah, like the one-off campaigns. So, yeah. But we like to kind of keep them on a little bit of a retainer. So it comes off a little bit more authentic, and that they like the brand. And I've honestly had influencers be completely straight up and just like, oh, it's not the brand for me.
Yeah.
Even if we are offering them budget, which is insane.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm like, I would take that.
Yeah.
I'll take $5 to post about socks.
I would take free product.
Honestly.
No budget. But yeah, I think it's evolving for sure. Because I was even talking to Ailish the other day, like people that I've used in campaigns like a few years ago, they're now, getting a little bit more picky about the brands that they're aligning with, and, they're like allocating a little bit more budget and stuff like that. So, but then there's always new talent coming up and arising. So it's, you gotta stay with it.
I know. Well, actually, on the topic of budget, I feel like the influencer landscape's really shifted.
Oh, 100%.
Because when I was really active on Instagram, like you'd be just grateful to get some free product. You're like, I'll take anything free. This is amazing. And then now influencers, like pretty much all of them require some sort of budget. So you, so you found that that's been a real shift.
Definitely.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like with COVID as well, what you mentioned before, what I was reading about it and it just clicked to me. They sort of started as your marketing department, pushing products, one-off products, and then they evolved into creative department where they're coming up with content for like photography really beautifully. And now since COVID and the rise of e-commerce, they're kind of like your sales department, like they're driving sales. So they are realizing that, and now they kind of want to be rewarded for that instead of just giving them the product.
Yeah, that's actually a really great analogy. Like it's really interesting because it's actually really time consuming building up an audience. Like it's almost like for some of them it's their job.
It
like
is their
they
job.
literally
That's
just
it.
are content creators.
So they need to be paid for it, especially when they know that they're getting results for the brands because the brands are praising them and using them again and again. It would get to a point where you're kind of like, I need to start making a living out of this.
Well, and as soon as they, I don't know, maybe, I guess, shift into the full-time influencer work, you can see their content gets better because they have the time to actually work on it. And then obviously when their content is growing, not growing, getting, I guess, in better quality, their followers are growing, and then it's just this massive snowball. So
we were saying the other day when we were talking about a campaign, and you were like, even if we just offer them $50 to $100, the difference that you'll get is insane, because they look at that as that's 2 hours work, or that's 3 hours work, $25 an hour. So they're going to put more time and effort into it.
Yeah.
If you include
on
it.
top of which is like at least $500 worth of product.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I feel that because some, like pretty much most brands are happy to pay them, but sometimes we'll still get brands and like, oh, we don't want to pay them. And that's just some brands' policies, but other ones don't even understand why you need to pay them. So I think it's good to actually educate people just to say, yeah, this is actually people's full-time jobs. And I know personally as a content creator, it's so time consuming trying to keep an audience engaged, trying to think of regular content to post. So I do feel like they should be rewarded for creating an audience, which the brand obviously sees value in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the difference between a photo or a video, you were saying, like the time that goes into that.
Yeah, and it's a really great opportunity for brands to get brand awareness, and they don't need to hire, I guess, like the models that they used to hire back in the day to really get those photos in the clothes or like of their products. So it's basically, two birds, one stone with it, which is one of those things where it's like, why do brands need influencers? Well, they don't need them, but it's probably the smartest choice with, I guess, where you're going to get your money's worth.
Exactly. Especially when you're humanizing your brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I go on pages and I'm like, oh, I just see products and I'm bored.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you need to see people in it. Or even
especially
like
fashion.
Validating
beauty.
it through an influencer, someone you follow as well.
You want to see people that you can relate to. Like, I love you, Miranda Kerr, or like Bella Hadid, but that concealer isn't going to look like
No.
You
Like,
need
it to be a little bit more on
I want
your level.
ordinary Melbourne gals that are going to like not a dingy bar,
Dive bars
a
only.
relaxed bar, I'm not walking for Vogue.
I find it funny because I can see through Instagram ads because I do it myself. Like that's my whole job, is to basically make Instagram ads look like they're not ads. But I've been really guilty of it on TikTok because in my mind, all I'm thinking is, it hasn't really hit TikTok just yet. It's not as bad as it is on Instagram. So I'm at the point where I'm actually falling for TikTok ads without even realizing it. Like,
Fully.
oh, CeraVe. Like, I'm like all over face wash. And I'm like, oh no, The Ordinary, just full shipment in of Ordinary products.
But TikTok actually, I would say, leading the way with that type of marketing in the paid space, because I think every fifth TikTok is an ad. So if they don't want to annoy people on the platform, they have to make it look like organic content. So I almost feel like I don't blame you, because you think it's just a normal TikTok and you're watching it going, oh my God, I all of a sudden need this. And then you don't even realize it's an ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still so new as well. So
Apple had a really good one I was watching. I didn't even realize it was for AirPods on TikTok. And they had them in, and this girl was dancing and like dancing to a Dua song, and it made me want to get up and buy some AirPods. And I was like, that is an ad. And I liked it.
I'm sure I'll get to the point where I'm like, oh, that's an ad. But right now I'm like, oh,
I know, get onto it.
Yeah.
We did one in July for with beer, and like I was reading through the comments, and only a few people actually realized it was an ad.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it was one of those, and it was still early on. It was almost a year ago. Scary enough. I guess July is almost a year ago.
Oh Jesus, that's
I don't
gone
even
fast.
know what year are we in. But yeah, so we obviously like briefed them on kind of how to make it not look like an ad, because technically,
It's key.
yeah, that's key to keeping it
looking organic and authentic.
on TikTok, because they used to remove it back in the day. I don't know if they're at that point yet.
Don't do that, TikTok.
Yeah. But yeah, it's super interesting because it's all about, it's more so, it's not even brand awareness now. It's like, what's that advertising tool if it's just in the background?
Organic.
No. It's
Subliminal?
just like yes, something like
Subconscious?
yeah,
I
maybe
feel like we're playing
it's like when
it.
it's in the background and you kind of just whatever. You guys, we all are guilty of seeing it.
Next.
Brand placement.
Next.
Is that right? Brand, help me.
I'm
God.
not very good
The
at
brand
like,
placement. Yeah, because it's just like they're talking, but something's in the background. So it's kind of more
like
brand.
product placement.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
So not subliminal. That was
Yeah.
totally wrong.
Like yes, anything. Yeah.
Product
placement.
placement.
We
Yes.
got there in the end.
Like in movies,
Yes,
it's interesting
that's
because they, yeah.
I do a really great job of explaining that. Everyone's like, this is a bad game of charades. Don't know what you're talking about. Brand. No, product placement.
Product
Yeah.
placement. Okay. Great.
So that's more of like, I think, what TikTok is going for. But yeah, honestly, I think they're going to get to the point where they're going to just ads.
Yeah. So hopefully they don't ruin the platform.
No.
We're trying to make lots of money. So let's move on to Trend Watch. So I love this segment because we like to talk about what the latest trends are in digital marketing. So what's happening in the influencer space that we should all be aware about from a trends perspective?
Trends. Well, I think the obvious one would be the short form videos, as we've just delved into, like custom filters, edits, the formats of it. I don't think that's going to go anywhere anytime soon. I've really been seeing CGI being used with influencers as well, like cartooning their faces with brands. It's really smart though because it hooks you in. So I think that's definitely going to expand even more. And TikToks, as we were saying, I feel like they're really underusing, well, creators they're called, but influencers, I feel like that's going to boom, as will their rates, because their rates are quite low at the moment.
Yeah, so I listened to this webinar, and it was like they're urging brands to jump on TikTok because everyone's still quite trying to figure it out. So even the creators are trying to figure it out as well. Obviously not the Addison Rays of the world, but you know, the micro ones are still trying to figure it out. So that it's a really, really great opportunity to be like one of the first, I guess, pioneers to, you know, start doing ads. So they're like
Definitely.
urging them to use it.
Yeah.
But it's just so new. So I don't even think, when I hear the word trend, I don't even think of Instagram anymore.
Ooh.
I generally just think of TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Instagram's like getting, not older, but it's like obviously the one of the more established social channels.
Yeah. And I feel like people are just like kind of transferring their TikToks onto Instagram.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But Instagram's not pushing out, I guess,
TikToks.
videos with TikTok watermarks
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
They'll push them out. They won't actually take them off, but they're not going to push them as far as you would if you actually made it on the app or upload it to the app without the watermark. So
Yeah. Good
it's-
tip.
Yeah, so they're obviously they've realized that it's, you know, their competitors and everything like that.
Cross-platform.
Yeah, I think the trends would be more TikTok at this
Yeah.
point. And there's a new one every day.
For sure. I think for brands with influencers, we've talked about it a little bit. I can't believe we still even have to say it, but the diversity with who they're choosing
Yes.
to represent their
Yes.
brands is something that it's crazy. We're still saying it, but ongoing demand for content of people that's just all walks of life. So body, ethnicity,
Yeah.
age. That's something that we try and push here at CODI, but I think it needs to become normalised, become normal.
Exactly. I just hope one day we don't even have to ask the question.
Yeah.
I know,
It's
because
embarrassing.
you can hear crickets when you sort of mention the idea to some brands. They're sort of like, what?
Yeah.
So definitely that should be prioritised in all of brands' marketing strategy.
Yeah, I like that.
Flips the table.
Other trends, I'd probably just reference, as I said before, like the sales department. I feel like from COVID, the platforms have even evolved, like the Instagram shopping app. So for brands to use influencers with when they tag the product, you can almost just buy it straight away, and like your credit card details are already it's in your cart and it's on the way to your house. So
I've seen a lot of the jumping and snapping videos of people
yes.
changing their clothes.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant, I guess, from a brand perspective, because you're getting probably 5 or 6 outfits
Yep. In 5 seconds.
advertised in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like pausing on it.
Must buy.
I've noticed
Screenshot.
an influencer actually put the product code on it on the bottom as well.
I think that's
I was
going
like,
to happen.
oh gosh,
If we're going to do
Add to
predictions,
cart.
you know, when you
think it was
when
Zara.
you look at brands like retail brands, for example, and you've got it's got the price and you can click on it and buy it, Instagram shop. I feel like influencers are going to start doing that, so where you can be on their profile and what they're wearing, you can instantly go to the shop and buy it. I think that's one to watch. Predicting it.
Our wallets are going to be hurting.
I know,
if it
exactly.
gets to that point.
Well, they're actually influential, which is the good and bad thing.
Exactly.
We've got to wrap up, unfortunately,
gosh.
shortly. But just before I get on to our last segment, which is the 5 quick questions, could you just share a couple of do's and don'ts with influencer marketing? Because I feel like there are so many brands who do it well and so many that do it badly.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those easy things to think, you know, I can do this myself. But what I've learned is you actually need to find the right influencer with the right target demographic. You could find an influencer off the street to post about your product, but if they don't have that following that's in their target demographic, you have no chance of actually, you know, I guess not selling product, but it's just you want to hit the nail on the head when you're finding the right influencer. And I think that's something that a lot of people aren't really aware of, because there's a lot of strategy that actually goes into it, and like briefing influencers, it needs to be really concise and straightforward. We love influencers to death, but they're not going to read a 10-page document. So it needs to be like, you know, we love photos against walls and, being really authentic to the brand, maybe take a look at our feed, that type of stuff. And I usually provide inspiration images into the brief, just to give them a feel of what we're actually looking for. Key messaging, everything needs to be I think it's just straightforward, to the point. And yeah, I guess just finding the right influencers and knowing, I guess, how to speak to them and get them to love your brand as well.
I'd say if we're talking about brands, do your research on, not, that sounds a bit like do your research.
Or else.
But maybe have a research into how it actually works, because a lot of brands, if they're newer, they go in quite blind, expecting that they're going to get this return and this result and this from an influencer. At the end of the day, the influencer, they're their own boss, so if we've used them before, which we normally do, we use the ones we can trust, but they, at the end of the day, can do what they want and don't expect just to get that return on investment. So it's about a lot more than that. It's about getting your brand out there and mentioned. And
exactly. Like influencers are really great for a lot of reasons, and I think that if, you know, people are only really concerned with one of them, you know, it's going to be a bit fiddly with the results. But, you know, we've had influencers that, you know, tick off all the boxes as well for brands. So again, finding the right influencers, really knowing how to do it. There's a lot more numbers that go into it. I'm constantly reporting on numbers, and I never thought I'd be dealing with numbers in my line of work. But yeah, it's a lot of numbers and targets, and yeah, I don't know. I guess don't get the wrong influencer for your brand.
Yeah, big no.
No.
Do get an agency to do it for you.
Love that. That's the most
Subtle
important
Sales
thing.
pitch, because it's a lot of work.
Do
It's
ask
a
CODI
lot.
agency to help you out.
Yeah, do.
Do and don't do it yourself.
Don't
Don't
do it
trust.
yourself.
No, but there's a lot of do's and don'ts. But yeah, I think,
Those are the main ones.
yeah. What would you say? I know that you're an influencer yourself.
Yeah.
I think, definitely not an influencer, unfortunately.
Not anymore.
Past my prime. But yeah, I think you guys summed it up really well. So yeah, I think definitely you need to know what you're doing. Otherwise you can waste your money. You might just throw your money in the bin.
You don't want to waste your money. And I know that, you know, we've had a few brands who haven't even had like a lot of posts on their feed, and we're like, we don't want to drive any traffic to your feed just yet. We want to make sure it's, you know, I guess has a lot of
substance.
Yeah, it has the products that you want on there that the influencers are going to drive the traffic to. So it's just a well-oiled machine, really.
Yes.
It needs to be like a whole 360 marketing that actually makes sense and delivers. So
Yeah, great point. Well, just to finish up, we've got 5 quick questions. So
she's like, quick.
I'm going to start.
Get them out.
I'm going to, no, I actually have a meeting. So that's why I'm like, Otherwise I could talk forever. So question 1, Ailish, to begin with,
Yes.
who was the first influencer you started following and why?
I think it was Radakowski.
Yeah,
Yes.
try to pronounce her name.
Not good for the self-esteem, but
Yeah.
I've always just been pretty mesmerised by her. I think it was all models at the start for my
Would have been, yeah.
age. It was all models, so I think she was.
Excellent.
But she's smart as well. She really brings some good topics to the table.
Yes.
Still
Yeah.
follow her. Haven't
Yeah.
unfollowed her.
She's still there.
doing well, Emrata. Excellent. Geena, what's the most unexpected but rewarding influencer campaign you've worked on?
I would say Lockdown for Love. So Elisa called me at like Friday. It was March 2020 triggered, I know. And it was like, we need to make this hashtag go viral yesterday. I was like, oh God. So basically it was obviously just like showcasing that people weren't really taking lockdown seriously at the time. You know, we're all naive, but we were just trying to get any, I guess, person with influence to really, really, really shed light on like, we need to lock down. This is serious. No budget was paid, and honestly, we reached I think like 1.8 million people with just
Insane.
using influencers
That's
for like
crazy.
goodwill. So I think
I
we had
remember
like
seeing it when I wasn't even
Really?
at CODI. Yeah.
God,
I do.
look at that.
Yeah.
So I called in favors from like the UK, the US. I was like, hey, remember that time I did something for you? You're gonna have to do something for me. Just have hashtag this, please. I'm begging you. I think I was like hashtagging on my friends' pictures.
Give me your phone.
You did an amazing job. You were hustling that
Oh
whole
my God,
weekend.
I worked around the clock
You
for
were
like
literally.
a week.
Yeah, just going, please just use this hashtag, please use this hashtag, please
was-
get this tattooed if you can on your arm, please just use it.
It was nice to see everyone come together. To be honest, like we
Yeah.
had like Steph Claire Smith, she did it, and
That's
you know I
great.
think one of the Orvals did it, and Olivia Molly Rogers, Spoonful Sarah, it was nice to see.
Yeah, and I think that everyone wants that campaign that's going to go viral, and there's just no guarantee that something will. Like the ice bucket challenge. I think whoever thought that was going to go viral.
Yeah, I think that was an
but-
I
accident.
know. Imagine pitching that to your boss.
Yeah. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
So that was a great one. I love that
I
campaign.
emailed every person I knew.
Yeah. Seriously, if you want me to talk to you again, you've got to post this bloody hashtag. Okay, just to finish up, 3 more questions. So who's an influencer on the rise that we need to watch out for, Ailish?
Ooh. We talked about this. They're already on the rise.
I literally keep saying it. The inspired and employed.
But we think they're going to get
Yeah.
Hamish and Andy big.
Oh, wow.
Well, we engaged them at 400K, and they're already at $1 million. That was not
wow.
even
6 months ago.
Yeah, not even.
That's
6 months ago.
crazy.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
because I even said it then. I'm like, we need to jump on
Yeah,
it. Well, their
good one.
budget probably aligns with ours,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
and they're just. I feel like they're like the men influencers. Like not a lot of
There's
And
not.
real men too.
Yeah.
real
yeah.
men,
Yeah.
big men, women.
They're scarce. the
And their
male
ads
ones.
are pretty seamless.
Yeah.
You don't really realize it's an ad. I'm sure it'll get to the point where it's probably a bit more obvious because they'll have, tags to tag and all that stuff. But they're killing it. I think they're like hosting like a festival in Melbourne.
Oh,
So
that's
many.
They did
amazing.
Yeah.
Fashion Week.
Definitely
I'm
not
like waiting
unemployed.
for the
They're
TV
not.
show to come out, or like
That's the
they're already on
irony.
commercials. I'm like, I need television. But yeah, I think they're gonna
Blow up. So watch
even
this
more. I
space.
don't know how. Yeah, watch that space.
Fantastic.
Ailish is watching.
I actually don't even follow them. That's the funny
What?
bit. Yeah, I don't know. They started to maybe annoy me a little bit
Oh,
because they got
the
pretty
ads,
adsy. I was
yeah.
like, you were cute when you were wholesome and like dancing, but now it's
Still
a bit
cute.
like- yeah.
Geena, what's the funniest request you've received while doing this job?
Okay, so this isn't a request, it's a response. And I actually saved it on my background to show you guys. So I reached out to this influencer, as I do.
You
I
shall
sent-
remain nameless.
Yes, exactly. I don't
Name
even
and
remember
shame.
the name. Honestly, I won't say the brand, but I was like, these are the requirements, this is what we're looking for. We would love to have people on board. This is back in the day with Contra, when a lot of people were getting paid for product. So I got this response, and I was like, okay. I usually get no thanks, like I'll pass. So I got, would probably rather have an elephant trample me to death.
That's
So I was like, is that a maybe?
great. So what address should I send product to?
Yeah, so what's your address?
What? An elephant
Trample me
trample.
to death.
That is
Exclamation
dark.
point, no other words. Not a hi, Geena.
That is dark.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. So
I mean, look, very direct and to the point.
yeah, but
Appreciate the directness, but
and I've heard
She
it
was
all.
having a
I've-
bad day.
could have just said no.
yeah, no, it would have been
Just
great.
don't reply.
Don't reply.
Like,
I
a lot
always,
of them.
I am the queen. I get ghosted all the time with influencers. Like, just don't even answer my email. But yeah, that was one I was like,
Wow, that's a lot.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, thanks,
So,
whoever that
no,
was.
It's definitely interesting.
Blacklisted.
Yeah.
And just to finish off, Ailish, if you could be an influencer, would you be one?
Yes, absolutely. I would. I definitely would. I think, as we said before, you can have a career from it. That'd be pretty nice. Self-employed. You could classify.
Ailish is quitting right
Yeah.
now.
If anyone brands want to work with me, just message me at ailish@gmail.com.
But also, I think, which I think is not undermined, but I would just love, this is a bit senti, a little
Oh,
bit
let's
senti,
hear it.
but just being able to use your voice for
Yeah.
good, like using it as a platform to actually
Yeah.
promote things that like need change in the world. I think not a lot of them do that, and I think
Yeah.
it needs to happen more aside from promoting brands and beauty skincare
Ailish for
products and stuff.
president.
Ailish 2022.
No, you've inspired me, Miss Lord Mayor.
Yeah.
No, but
Lisa
yeah, I
loves
think-
charities as well.
Yeah,
We've
but I
done a few
think-
influencer campaigns.
I
What did I
think-
just? We
But
did
I
a few
think
influencer campaigns for
There's a
charities.
stigma with it as well, so
Oh.
I feel like a
I
lot
feel
of
like they
people
can't do
judge
anything.
it.
They can't do anything really right. Like you can't even actually have it. I cannot be one. I can't speak. You can't even do anything wrong. You can't even have a typo at this point anymore because they have
Yeah.
Yeah,
Celebrity spell check.
celebrity spell check. But I think
Yeah.
why not?
I'm not okay. Yes.
Well, and on
I
that
would be
note,
on there. Wrap it up.
Thanks for
Wrap it up.
listening.
but in all seriousness, thank you so much for joining me today. Love the insights into the world of influencers. So much learnings, I think, for a lot of our listeners out there who are either have worked with influencers in the past, currently working with them, want to work with them. So if you do need help with your influencer campaigns, please reach out to us. We would love to help you out, and you get to work, not with me because I'm a mess, but you'll get to work with Geena and Ailish, and they've done amazing work for our clients. So definitely keen to help guide you in that world of influencers. So thanks for joining me today, guys.
No worries.
Thank you.